All right, welcome to the Catalyst Way, where we have conversations around unleashing the power of purpose and meaning to fuel transformative change in yourself and for others. And today, this is episode 15, and we're just going to dive right in. We had this conversation right before we started, and we're just like, you know what, let's just go for it. So, right before we got on the call, we had this conversation around the difference between better and more.
Yes.
So, let's just dig in. Share what you were thinking before we had, when we were starting this conversation.
Well, we're talking about people being really concerned about the better version of themselves, right? And is it that they really want to be better or do they want more? And as far as it relates to them living their daily life and being willing to take the inner journey, I think that we have more people who aren't willing to take the inner journey. They don't like the discomfort. And because they don't, I just think we have more people who tend to lean toward the side of, I want more because more makes me look better. I want more money. I have a bigger house. Things look great. And if I can do that, then who's to say I'm not doing better?
So, social media promotes more, not better.
Of course. I
So,
want to give you my highlight reel.
right, that's right. So, people use social media as a comparison. But here's the problem then it leaves people feeling a certain way, and it's usually not a positive. So then they're like, well, I've got to do more, get more stuff and do more stuff because I want to be like that person. But you're not doing any work on yourself.
But they're being allowed to believe or think that if I've got more, how come that doesn't equate to personal transformation? They think it does.
Well, but they don't, but people don't know what personal transformation even means. Because they were like, oh, personal transformation, that just means I'll do something and it'll make me better. But that's it. They don't really know what that means. So, we were talking about, we're big into sports, and you mentioned a trophy.
Everybody gets one.
Everybody gets one. So everybody has a trophy, and they post a trophy, and everybody wants more trophies. But then you think about better. Are you actually a better athlete? Does a trophy signify you being a better athlete?
Not if everybody gets one, because if everyone gets one, all I need to be is good enough. I don't need to be better.
Right.
Good enough gets me a trophy,
Ugh.
right? But now, if we do that, we've taken excellence off the table,
Right. So,
right?
so here's what got us started. So I have to do this presentation, and I've been doing this research on the difference between personal transformation and meaning and purpose exploration. And it led me to this research I've been doing. And the title of this little article that I put together was The Singular Pursuit: Why Everyone is Chasing a Better Self. And I'm going to read the paragraph and then you can share some thoughts. So, the complexity of human ambition often masks a surprisingly singular universal drive, the relentless desire to become a better version of oneself. While people pursue divergent goals, some chase extreme wealth, others spiritual transcendence, and yet others profound public service, these external objectives are merely proxies for an internal state of improved identity, competence, or significance. Every conscious choice is an attempt to close the perceived gap between the actual self, which is who we are today, and the ideal aspirational identity, who we believe we are meant to be. This striving is powered by an innate human mechanism, the discomfort of misalignment. We are hardwired to notice when our actions, environments, or habits fail to reflect our core values and unique potential. The anxiety of procrastination, the sting of ineffective communication, or the dull ache of unfulfilled contribution are all signals that our internal system is demanding personal transformation and purpose and meaning exploration. The wealthy person isn't just chasing dollars, but confirming their identity as capable and secure. The dedicated parent is confirming their identity as loving and reliable. The ultimate currency is always the affirmation of an evolved self. So we are always looking to be a better self, but we're using external measures to do it, not internal stuff. So we're not doing the internal work to dig deep to actually present our best self to the world. We're just sharing the stuff we accumulate. I got more money. I got more cars. I got a bigger house. I got more friends. I got more likes. And we're doing that work, but we're not taking care of ourselves.
The problem with all of that is the more, like we said before, is always empty, right? As long as I keep going for more, it's empty. And I'm using, even though the desire is a better version of me, and I recognize that I'm misaligned with that version of me that I attain, I'm looking to attain or aspire to, is based on what? If I don't take the inner journey, what's it based on? It's based on who I see around me and what they're doing. So now I'm using my misalignment to run a comparison game.
Right.
Why would I do that?
So, and it's funny. So you think about it, you're comparing yourself to others when you should be comparing your old self to your new self. How about that one?
Assuming I even know that I can make that comparison, that I can see how much I've changed, and I know where I'm continuing to journey to. Otherwise, I stay right where I am because you asking me to recognize the misalignment and move forward is you asking me to face my discomfort. I don't want to do that.
Well, you think about your whole, a lot of your focus is parents and parenting. So on the outside, parents want to see themselves as loving, caring, providing. But on the inside, there's a lot of parents who aren't doing the job they need to be doing. I mean, you see it on the field. My wife sees it when she works with clients. I mean, they want to project this image, but are they actually being a better parent?
But that's the illusion, right? That's the problem is parenting by their standards, which is this is how I was parented, so this is what I'm going to do. It doesn't really become how can I be the best parent I can be versus I just want to be the kind of parents my parents were if they were good, or I don't want to be the way my parents were because they weren't good. That's the measuring stick. That's what they're using. So now they're trying to figure out a way to abide by those rules while making sure that they present themselves in the best possible manner in terms of the way other parents see them. Because again, who wants to do the inner work? But to be a really good parent, yeah, I need to start with me first. It's not how do I do as far as my child is concerned, it's where am I? Because my child is nothing more than the mirror. And I'm looking at them and I'm seeing how they trigger all of this stuff inside of me. And it's only because I have not taken that inner journey that we're talking about because I don't really want better. I want more.
And and you think about education. I think that's where it's exposed even more. Because if you think about education, we want students to graduate and get a job so they can make money. We don't even address the better self part. It's just focus on the better version of yourself. No, don't care. We just want you to graduate and get a job. Their
Correct.
measurements are all focused on numbers, and you
Yes.
can't quantify, am I a better version of myself?
And we'll change those numbers to make sure that it suits our fancy and meets our need. Right.
Right.
So the dynamic has changed. The goalposts have moved. So let's grade on the curve now. Right. Because who cares? We just want to get you out. Right. Let's just move you on. So again, who cares about better? We just want more.
Right.
So we've got more kids who have graduated. We have moved more out into the marketplace to do what? We don't really care.
And that's why more and more students are disgruntled. They are searching for something, purpose and meaning in higher ed. More people are searching for purpose and meaning at their workplace. You can look at more people searching for purpose and meaning in church. You look at the numbers, people are searching for this stuff about being better person, and nobody's helping them. And you think about there are people out there doing this work, other coaches and other programs, and I'll be honest, I think it's junk because it's all surface level. They're like, yeah, we'll do these tools for the next 5 weeks, and by the end of these 5 weeks, you'll be a better person. Eh, it
Well,
doesn't happen that way.
number one, everyone's an expert, right? So there are programs out there. There are a dime a dozen because everyone is an expert. And again, going back to what we talked about before, of course you can be an expert because everyone gets a trophy, right? I just need you to show up. And as long as you show up and you go through these 5 bullet points, then yes, here you go. I'm going to give you a certificate. You're great. You've graduated. You're on your way. Because again, I don't really want to push the envelope of discomfort. I'm not asking you to take accountability. That's too much. I don't want that. But it's where you need to go. Otherwise, we might as well just lay down this whole vision of personal transformation, forget about it. Let's just move on to something else because you're not going to do it anyway. You want it, you just don't want to do the work that it takes to actually make that a reality.
So that's why the word you used was discomfort. If you want to be a better version of yourself, you have to be willing to deal with the discomfort. And I don't know if a lot of people want to deal with the discomfort.
If they are being honest about them saying they want to be better, then they really don't have a choice. Well, they do, but they really don't, right? You will have to deal with the discomfort because you cannot pursue any area of excellence any other way. Like you can't. It's going to feel uncomfortable. And you have to bring yourself to the point where it's deliberate discomfort, which is us asking you to take that inner journey. It's deliberate discomfort. It's not you just waiting around for life to introduce an uncomfortable situation and then dealing with it and then trying to talk about how resilient you are because you've dealt with some of life issues. When the type of resilience we're talking about is, yeah, paint yourself into a corner on purpose and then work your way out of it so that you can really see who you are and what's in you.
It's kind of like um, that Brene Brown quote, the cave you, what was it? The cave you fear is where the treasure you seek, or something like that.
Right. Yes. Yes. The
Look,
treasure you seek is in the cave you fear to
here,
enter.
yeah. See, nobody wants to go in in the cave, which is
No,
funny.
it's like
So, oh, go ahead.
it's like you mentioned earlier, right? It's we talked about before we got on the call. It's the map, right? This is the map. And first of all, you have to be willing to go and recognize that you need a map. And then you've got to explore the fact that I need to journey my way through this map to get to my destination.
So, and that brings me up to, in December, we're doing the workshop, the 3-day workshop, and it's the cave.
Yes,
Because most people come thinking I'm going to get more tools for my toolbox. And it's like literally the first morning of the first day, we hit you over the head like, so we want to hear the story of your courageous self. It's like, what's the good? What's the bad? And not only do you identify the good and the bad, but then you get to share it with another person. And that's the stuff that we do is it starts out you're thinking, I'm just going to, get some more stuff. And it ends up being, oh, this is actually about me. So if you really want to think about you and your life and you want to enter the cave, come hang out with us in December because you will enter the cave. So,
it's it's tough to get yourself to the point where you are willing to take a good long hard look in the mirror. And it has to be done at a deeper level to get your life where it needs to be and to journey where you are supposed to go. That's the reason you exist. That's why you were created. And we are great at doing this at the superficial level. It's the same as getting dressed in the morning. Take a look in the mirror and you're on your way. We're asking you to really take a look in the mirror and understand that what's looking back at you needs to change. And it's not going to change by you trying to wipe the mirror clean. Like you got to change you, then what's in front of the mirror changes. And you got to have the guts and the moxie to say, all right, I'm willing to do this and let's take this journey. Because if you're willing to do that, we have the tools you need. We've got the workshops available. We've got book for you to read to get you on this journey because there are, again, as I said before, we got a ton of experts because everyone's an expert. But to me, it really comes down to is this something that I know if you did it has the power to transform your life? And the answer is yes.
and to a huge degree, not just this little bitty change. I mean, it's pretty profound. I mean, look at us. I mean, you've been through it. Let's see, we met in 2015. I've done 22 of these, and I think you've been to 19.
Correct.
And it has changed every time you go to one. There's something different that you get from it for yourself.
And that's the journey, right? That's the
Right.
journey.
But then you also profoundly change the way other people see themselves. And I get the same thing. Even though I can't participate because I'm facilitating, I always get something from it when I hear the conversations. Because it's like I came here thinking this way, and I'm leaving here thinking this way.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do that, that's when you know there's light bulbs going off like all the time. So, so we decide this one would be a little more open and it's better versus more.
Correct. Yes.
So we're hoping better is the choice you want to make. And we want to help you in that journey, not in the more. So, so any last thoughts before we close out this session?
Just be better and do better. Yes,
We'll show the shirts another time.
yes.
Well, thank you all for joining us. We hope you found it entertaining. Um, and if you have any thoughts, please put them in the comment section. But expect more of this kind of, we want to challenge ourselves and we want to challenge you to really think about, what do you want? What do you really want? Okay. All right. We're good.
We're good. Bye for now.
All right. See ya.